I am Heidi Benjaminson, your host of Confidence Coaching, a podcast for mothers of teenagers who want to inspire their teens to thrive. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Hello. Welcome to episode 131, Normalizing Negative Emotions. I'm glad you're back again, and thank you to so many of you who are sharing the podcast with your friends, your sisters, your neighbors who would like more calm and confidence in their life and want their teens to catch all of that calm and confidence. We all have much more influence than we think. Just this week, a client said to me, "It really is true. I changed my energy and I only project confidence to my young adult daughter, and it's true. She really is doing all of these things that I thought she wouldn't be able to do." She's been so happy to see that she changed how she talks and feels with her daughter, and her daughter is now taking positive action steps that seemed impossible a year or two ago. Getting a job, managing complicated health situations, living on her own. It's work though. It can be uncomfortable. It requires us zipping our lips. It requires us having faith and managing our own insecurities. And y'all, it's amazing. Which is a nice lead into today's topic. I witnessed an amazing exchange earlier this week between my son and a friend of mine, and I saw the effect it had on him, and I want us all to learn from it and do more of it. Here's what happened. My college son is home from school, and my friend, who has known my son and has a son his same age, came over to my house for a bit. Well, to drink Diet Cokes, and we were going to solve all of our world problems together. My son came into the kitchen to give her a hug, and my son asked about her son, who he spent many a scout camp out with and hiking trips. They aren't necessarily close, but they are peers and they know each other. Her son is about the same age as my son, and he's serving a mission for our church, and she said how incredibly happy her son is. Then, as we were talking, she shared how her son really felt 8 months ago as he was preparing to leave for his 2-year mission. And some communications she saw that he had written that said how incredibly scared and terrified he was. She was very emphatic with my son. She said her son was terrified, so scared, so fearful. She shared how hesitant he was. Yes, he was excited and terrified. She didn't sugarcoat it. My son then said, "Oh, that's so good to hear. You only see people post on social media how excited and happy they are." And my friend confirmed, "Oh, there's a ton of fear and nervousness behind all of that excitement." I could see in my son how knowing how scared his friend was very eye-opening. I'm not sure what my son is thinking regarding a mission, but in that moment, he got a clear message that if he is feeling terrified, that is how many others in that situation are feeling as well. That feeling isn't a reason not to go. There might be other reasons, but being scared is normal. It's just, it isn't the emotion that everyone posts on social media. And I don't think it needs to be. Our teens need to know, and we as adults need to know, all the fear and nervousness, insecurity we feel is generally being felt by others too. Our ability to name, recognize, and talk about these emotions with our children is critical. Each time we say the emotion, we bring it out of the dark. We shine light on it, and we have more power to accept and process the emotion. If we express to our teens that we felt the same way at times and there's nothing wrong with their emotions, they feel safer. And they actually can take steps forward, even with these emotions. Last fall, this same son of mine was studying abroad, his first semester in college, and he was in another country. He was homesick the first few weeks, which is very understandable. His school counselors prepared us parents and the students for it. He handled it well, I think in part because he could call home or FaceTime us, and we were okay with him talking about it. We didn't tell him that he should feel different. We didn't say, "Oh, you'll get over it." In fact, I shared with him how hard my first year was, particularly my first semester of college. I did share that it was easier in the second year, but not from a place of, well, he should just deny and push away these feelings. We normalized talking about it. We didn't dance around it. We also didn't feed it or make it a problem. He was homesick and it was okay. We knew he'd work through it. And because of that and our openness and accepting of it, he can talk about it if anyone asks how his year has gone. I just heard him say to someone that the first few weeks away were hard and he was homesick, but then it got better. He feels no shame mentioning this to other people, which is an incredible gift if he's talking to his brother who will go to college next fall, or if he's talking to any other peer. He's making it normal to have these feelings and to still go to school and show up each day and also be happy and excited for the experience. This starts with us as parents being okay with the discomfort our kids will feel. We have to remind ourselves over and over. We want them to tell us about these emotions. These emotions aren't problems to solve. Our job is to sit with and witness what our kids feel, sharing times when we felt the same and project calm and confidence back to them. We do this easier when we tell ourselves on repeat, they are terrified and it's okay. They are homesick and it's okay. They are nervous. They are running low on money and it's okay. They are stressed about this hard class and it's okay. Not it's okay and you'll get through it and buck up. It's okay will sound like, oh, I know this is hard. I hate that feeling. Tell me more. Or, oh, I hate when that happens. What did you do next? Just last month, my daughter was playing her first tennis match for the varsity tennis team, and she had a game where none of her serves went in. She'd been taking lessons this whole school year, and these were her first games against other schools. I knew she was nervous, and I guessed she was probably disappointed at her serves. She had played doubles, and her doubles mate was irritated, which was really irritating my daughter. On our drive home, she said, ugh, none of my serves went in, and Emma was blaming me that we lost. My gut instinct was, well, of course, to be mad at Emma for being such a poor sport. And I also felt bad that my daughter was having to sit with the failure of sorts. But I shared with her how I felt when I played tennis and how I hated that too. I also told her how proud I was that she was out there playing, that the only way to get better is to actually be serving. And in the game, to quote Theodore Roosevelt, I said how proud I was that she was in the arena, daring greatly, and that failure was on her path to getting better. She talked about how she felt with her teammate, and I shared with her a time that I felt disappointed in myself, even some shame that I had let a cheer team down with a mistake, how it doesn't feel good. On her own, she then had ideas of how to talk to the coach privately, and she reminded herself and me that she would get better at the serves. This all came after I was okay with her feeling the disappointment and failure. Now, I think one of the benefits of the pandemic is the more open dialogue around anxiety, stress, overwhelm, depression. I overheard 2 teens saying, well, at lunch, Johnny said that his therapist said to do this, just like they were discussing the weather or a math test. What happens is our teens then don't become paralyzed in the emotions, thinking that they're alone or something is wrong with them. And they have more emotional tools to help them understand the perky social media posts. They know behind each exciting post is also a scared and terrified teen. Our high school is posting where each senior is going to college. I heard one college student telling a senior, you're gonna have some personality conflicts with roommates and you're gonna mess up your laundry. Now the senior knows these things will happen and there's nothing wrong with her when they happen. I remember driving home from the hospital with our first child in the car. I could not believe the hospital was sending us home with no full-time nurse, with no full-time anyone to help us keep another living baby alive. Terrified and scared were definitely part of the postpartum emotions. I think I would have benefited from knowing what to expect and to know how hard breastfeeding was and to know how lonely some days could be. When we can openly name and share the negative right alongside with the positive, we give ourselves power over the emotions, and our family learns that life is okay when it has a mix of good and bad, and they see that we're still moving forward. We aren't paralyzed thinking something has gone wrong. Recently, I heard an older man talking about his turbulent childhood, and he frankly talked about the shame he felt about his parents, their alcoholism, and more. He talked openly and quite confidently, and I thought, here is someone who, of course, he doesn't want the shame or wishes his family were different, but he knows that nothing's wrong with him for this experience. His talking about it gave those in the conversation the gift of knowing that we all feel shame at times, and knowing what to do with it is key. Talking about it takes the power away from it and normalizes what we experience. Now, one last example. Last summer, I spoke with a youth group and I did a workshop on confidence. And in it, I shared with them how on the day that I launched my podcast, I was so nauseous and sick to my stomach with nervousness and literally feeling the vulnerability and fear of criticism and just all of those other fears. I told them how I felt, and I knew that I wanted to push through it to be someone who has a podcast. Later that night at our campfire, we asked the girls what they had learned that day. And one girl said, "It was so helpful to hear how nervous and sick you felt doing something big and vulnerable." I could tell she was really pondering the whole thing. There must be something in her life where she was or has been feeling nervous. It really helps to know other people feel this way. So let's work on naming what we're feeling for our family. Let's normalize. I'm nervous about what the class will think about my lesson, and I'm proud of how well I prepared. I was totally scared on my wedding day, and I was also walking on cloud 9. I was so grateful at my baby showers, and I also hated being the center of attention. Let's talk about how we think people may be feeling when they post things online, in addition to the positive they feel. There's nothing wrong with posting all the positive. Our teens need to know, though, often there are other emotions along for the ride. So when they feel them, they can talk about them and still move forward. The whole Me Too movement is, aside from the obvious movement objectives, the Me Too theme is that we aren't alone in our experiences. What we are or have experienced has also been experienced by others. And the less alone we feel, the more connected we become and the more confident we show up in life. That's it for this week. If you would like personalized weekly private one-on-one coaching to learn how to build a solid relationship with your family, sign up for a consult call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family, not a perfect mother. Our families want us to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.